The coffee tasted bitter that Tuesday morning. Not the usual bitterness of strong coffee, but something else. Something chemical and wrong. I was sitting at the kitchen table, about to take my second sip, when I noticed Vanessa watching me from across the room. She was standing by the counter, her own mug in her hand, but she wasn't drinking. She was just watching me with an intensity that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. "You okay?" I asked, setting my mug down. "Fine," she said quickly, looking away. "Just tired. Didn't sleep well." I looked at my coffee mug. Dark roast, the way I always made it. Nothing looked different, but something felt wrong. "I think I'll skip the coffee today," I said, pushing the mug away. "My stomach feels off." Vanessa's expression flickered. Disappointment, relief. It was gone too quickly for me to identify. "You sure? You always have coffee in the morning." "Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe I'm coming down with something." I stood up and grabbed my keys, leaving the full mug on the table. As I walked out of the kitchen, I glanced back and saw Vanessa staring at the coffee with an expression I'd never seen on her face before. That was the moment I started paying attention. My name is Owen Fletcher. I'm 42 years old, and I've been married to Vanessa for 7 years. I'm a civil engineer, steady job, good salary, minimal stress. Vanessa works part-time as a dental hygienist. We have a nice house in the suburbs, no kids, comfortable life. Or so I thought. Looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. Vanessa had become distant over the past 6 months. She'd stopped asking about my day, stopped planning our usual weekend activities, started spending more time on her phone, always angling the screen away when I was nearby. I'd chalked it up to work stress, or just the natural ebb and flow of a long marriage. People go through phases. I figured we'd reconnect eventually. But that bitter coffee changed everything. I went to work that day and couldn't stop thinking about it. About the taste. About Vanessa's expression. About how she'd been so insistent I drink it. Around lunch, I called my buddy Thomas. We'd known each other since high school, and he was the most paranoid person I knew. If anyone would understand my concerns without thinking I was crazy, it was him. "Tom, weird question. If someone wanted to poison you, what would it taste like?" "Jesus, Owen. That's dark even for a Monday. Why are you asking?" "Tuesday. And I'm serious. Hypothetically, most poisons are bitter. Some have a metallic taste." "What?" "My coffee tasted weird this morning. Really bitter. And Vanessa was watching me drink it like she was waiting for something." Silence on the other end. Then, "You think your wife is trying to poison you?" "I don't know. Probably not. I'm probably being paranoid." "Or you're not." "Look, I'm not saying Vanessa is trying to kill you, but I'm also not saying she's not. People do crazy things for money. You have life insurance." "Yeah, $1 million policy. We both do. And who's the beneficiary on yours?" "Vanessa." "There's your motive." "Owen, I'm not trying to freak you out, but if your gut is telling you something's wrong, listen to it. Trust your instincts." After we hung up, I sat in my car in the parking lot and thought about everything. Vanessa had been acting strange. She'd been secretive, and now my coffee had tasted like poison. I pulled out my phone and searched signs of poisoning. The results were disturbing. Symptoms included nausea, dizziness, weakness, confusion. I've been feeling tired lately. More tired than usual. I'd attributed it to work stress, but what if it was something else? I made a decision. I wasn't going to drink or eat anything Vanessa gave me until I figured out what was going on. And I was going to document everything. That evening, Vanessa made dinner. Chicken and rice, one of my favorites. She set a plate in front of me with a smile. "Eat up. You said you weren't feeling well this morning. This should help." I looked at the food. It looked normal. Smelled normal. But I didn't trust it. Actually, I grabbed a big lunch with clients. I'm still full. But this looks great. I'll save it for tomorrow. Again, that flicker of disappointment crossed her face. "You sure? I made it special for you." "I'm sure. Thank you, though." I wrapped up the plate and put it in the fridge. Vanessa watched me the entire time. That night, after Vanessa went to bed, I took the plate of food out of the fridge. I put it in a plastic container and labeled it with the date. Then I hid it in the garage behind some paint cans. If she was poisoning me, I was going to need evidence. Over the next week, I started noticing patterns. Vanessa would make me coffee every morning and watch to see if I drank it. When I declined or claimed I wasn't feeling well, she'd seem frustrated. She'd offer me food throughout the day. Snacks, drinks, leftovers from her lunch. Always watching to see if I ate it. I started declining everything or secretly saving it. I had a collection of suspicious food hidden in the garage, each container dated and labeled. I also started feeling better. The constant fatigue I'd been experiencing for months began to lift. My head felt clearer. I had more energy. That's when I knew. Vanessa had been poisoning me. Slowly. Over months. And now that I'd stopped consuming anything she gave me, I was recovering. The realization hit me like a physical blow. My wife, the woman I'd shared my life with for 7 years, was trying to kill me for insurance money. I called Thomas again. I need help. I think you were right. Vanessa's been poisoning me. Shit. Okay. What do you need? I need to prove it. I've been saving the food she gives me, but I need more. I need to catch her in the act. Cameras. Set up hidden cameras in your house. Document everything. And Owen, be careful. If she realizes, she might try something more direct. The next day, I bought several small cameras online. Ones that looked like phone chargers and smoke detectors and picture frames. I set them up throughout the house, focusing on the kitchen where Vanessa prepared most of our food. I also bought a voice recorder and started carrying in my pocket, recording every interaction. 3 days after installing the cameras, I hit gold. I reviewed the footage from the kitchen camera and saw Vanessa making coffee that morning. She prepared 2 mugs, one for herself and one for me. Then she opened a small bottle I'd never seen before and poured something into my mug. Just a few drops. She stirred it carefully, making sure it dissolved completely. Then she brought the coffee to the table where I was reading the news on my tablet. "Coffee's ready," she said with a smile. On camera, I watched myself thank her and set the mug aside, saying I'd drink it in a minute. I watched Vanessa's face fall. Watch her take both mugs back to the kitchen when I left for work without drinking mine. I had it. Video evidence of her adding something to my coffee. But I needed more. I needed to know what she was using and why. That night, while Vanessa was in the shower, I searched the house. I went through drawers, closets, cabinets. Finally, in the back of her closet, hidden in a shoebox, I found it. A small bottle labeled antifreeze. Another bottle with no label containing a clear liquid. And a third bottle labeled prescription, Derek Matthews. Derek Matthews. I knew that name. He was a pharmacist at the CVS, where Vanessa used to work before switching to the dental office. They'd been friendly. Too friendly, I thought at the time, but I'd pushed the suspicion aside. I took photos of everything and put it all back exactly as I found it. Then I called a private investigator. His name was Ray Castillo, and he came highly recommended. We met at a coffee shop the next morning. "I think my wife is trying to poison me," I said, sliding a folder across the table. "I have video of her putting something in my coffee. I have bottles of antifreeze and prescription drugs hidden in her closet. I need to know if I'm crazy or if this is real." Ray looked through the photos and video stills. His expression grew serious. "You're not crazy. This is attempted murder. Have you gone to the police?" "Not yet. I wanted more evidence first." "Smart. The police will need solid proof. Let me look into this Derek Matthews guy and see what his connection to your wife is. In the meantime, don't eat or drink anything she gives you. And Owen, watch her back. If she's desperate enough to poison you, she might try other methods." Over the next week, Ray did his job. He followed Vanessa, documented her movements, and discovered something I'd suspected but hoped wasn't true. Vanessa was having an affair with Derek Matthews. They'd been seeing each other for 8 months. They met at his apartment twice a week. They'd been photographed at restaurants across town, always careful to avoid places where they might be recognized. Ray also discovered financial motive. Vanessa had racked up $60,000 in credit card debt that I knew nothing about. She'd opened the cards in her name only and had been making minimum payments from a checking account I didn't have access to. She was drowning in debt, and my $1 million life insurance policy was her way out. "There's more," Ray said during our meeting. I looked into Derek Matthews. He's had his pharmacy license suspended twice for irregularities with prescription medication. My guess is he's been supplying her with whatever she's using to poison you. I felt sick. This wasn't just Vanessa acting alone. She had help. She had a plan. And I'd almost fallen for it. "What do I do?" I asked. "You have enough for the police now. Video evidence, witness testimony from me, the bottles in her closet. But if you want something airtight, something she can't talk her way out of, you need a confession." "How do I get that?" "You confront her. But you do it smart. You record everything. You get her to admit what she's been doing and why. Then you take it all to the police. I thought about it. The idea of confronting Vanessa, of hearing her admit she'd been trying to kill me, made my stomach turn. But Ray was right. A confession would seal the case. Okay, how do I do this? Ray handed me a small device. This is a recording pen. Looks like a normal pen, but it's recording everything. Keep it in your pocket during the confrontation. Make sure you're in a public place or somewhere safe. Don't do this alone at home, where she might have access to weapons. I took the pen and formulated a plan. The next evening, I suggested we go to dinner at a nice restaurant downtown. Vanessa seemed surprised but pleased. This is nice, she said over appetizers. We haven't been out like this in months. I know. I've been thinking we need to reconnect. Talk about things. What kind of things? Our future. Our marriage. Our finances. She tensed slightly at the word finances. What about our finances? I've been thinking about increasing our life insurance policies. Mine and yours. Maybe bump them up to $2 million each. What do you think? Vanessa's eyes lit up. Really? That's a great idea. Very responsible. I thought you'd like it. I'll call the insurance agent tomorrow and get it set up. We finished dinner, and I suggested we walk around downtown before heading home. Vanessa agreed, seeming happy and relaxed for the first time in months. We found a bench in a quiet area near the waterfront. I sat down, and Vanessa sat next to me. The recording pen was in my jacket pocket, pointed toward her. Vanessa, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. Okay. Have you been unhappy in our marriage? She looked away. Sometimes. Haven't you? Maybe. But I've never acted on it. I've never done anything to hurt you. What are you saying? I'm saying I know about Derek. Her face went pale in the dim light. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Derek Matthews. The pharmacist. You've been seeing him for 8 months. Oh, don't lie to me. Not anymore. I have photos. I have witnesses. I know everything. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, okay. Yes. I've been seeing Derek. I'm sorry. I never meant for you to find out this way. Is that why you've been trying to poison me? She froze. What? The coffee. The food. The antifreeze in your closet. The prescription drugs from Derek. I know about all of it, Vanessa. She started to stand, but I grabbed her arm gently. Don't run. Just tell me the truth. What? Tears started running down her face. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I never wanted it to go this far. How far did you want it to go? Derek said it would be easy. Just a little bit, every day. You get sick gradually. It would look natural. Heart failure or kidney problems. No one would suspect anything. And then you get the insurance money. She nodded, crying harder now. I'm in so much debt. I don't know how it got so bad. The card just kept piling up. And Derek said this was the only way out. He said it was foolproof. So you decided to kill me. I didn't want to, but I didn't see another option. And you'd be gone anyway eventually. And at least this way, I'd have the money to start over with Derek. I felt nauseous listening to her rationalize murdering me. My own wife. How long have you been doing it? For months. But you kept not drinking the coffee or eating the food. It was taking too long. Derek was getting impatient. He wanted me to use more, but I was scared it would be too obvious. So you were going to keep poisoning me until I died. I'm sorry. I know it's horrible. I know I'm a monster. But I didn't know what else to do. I stood up. I'm going to the police. I have everything recorded. Your confession, the video of you poisoning my coffee, the bottles in your closet. It's over, Vanessa. Her expression changed from remorseful to panicked. You can't. Please. I'll go to prison. You try to kill me. You deserve to go to prison. Please, Owen. I'm begging you. We can work this out. I'll end things with Derek. I'll get help for the debt. We can start over. No, we can't. You try to murder me for money. There's no starting over from that. I walked away, leaving her crying on the bench. I got in my car and drove straight to the police station. I brought everything. The recording of her confession. The video from the hidden cameras. The photos of the bottles. Ray's investigative report. All of it. The detective who took my statement was a woman named Sarah Morrison. She listened to everything, reviewed all the evidence, and then called in more officers. This is attempted murder, she said. We're going to arrest your wife tonight. We'll also bring in Derek Matthews for questioning. You did the right thing coming to us. Within 3 hours, Vanessa was arrested at our house. Derek was arrested at his apartment. Both were charged with conspiracy to commit murder and attempted murder. The local news ran the story. Dental hygienist and pharmacist arrested in insurance murder plot. It was surreal seeing Vanessa's face on TV, seeing our house cordoned off with crime scene tape. I stayed with Thomas for a few days while the police processed the house. They found more evidence I hadn't known about. Internet searches on Vanessa's laptop for undetectable poisons and how to make death look natural. Text messages between her and Derek planning the whole thing. The text messages were particularly damning. Derek, you need to give him more. Small doses aren't working fast enough. Vanessa, I'm scared. What if someone figures it out? Derek, they won't. Trust me. I know what I'm doing. Once he's gone, we'll have the money and we can be together. Vanessa, what if he stops drinking the coffee? Derek, then put it in his food, his drinks, whatever he'll consume. Just keep at it. He'll get sick eventually. Reading those messages, seeing how casually they discussed ending my life, made me feel sick. This woman had slept next to me for 7 years, had said she loved me, had planned our future together, and all the while, she'd been plotting my murder. The trial happened 8 months later. Vanessa and Derek both pleaded not guilty initially, but the evidence was overwhelming. The prosecution presented the video of Vanessa poisoning my coffee. The bottles found in our house with her fingerprints all over them. The confession I'd recorded. The text messages. The financial records showing her debt and my life insurance policy. Derek's defense tried to claim he didn't know what Vanessa was using the prescription medications for. But prosecutors presented evidence that he'd searched for the same poison-related terms on his work computer that Vanessa had searched on her laptop. Midway through the trial, Derek's lawyer convinced him to take a plea deal. He agreed to testify against Vanessa in exchange for a reduced sentence. His testimony was devastating. He described in detail how they planned it, how he'd researched which poisons would be hard to detect, how they calculated how long it would take for me to die based on the dosage, how they'd planned to wait a respectful amount of time after my death before starting their life together with my insurance money. Vanessa's lawyer tried to claim she'd been manipulated by Derek, that she was a victim too, but the jury didn't buy it. The video of her poisoning my coffee, the confession, the text messages, it all painted a picture of a willing participant. The jury deliberated for 4 hours before returning with a verdict. Guilty on all counts. Vanessa was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Derek got 18 years after his plea deal. I attended the sentencing hearing. Vanessa tried to make eye contact with me, tried to mouth, "I'm sorry," but I looked away. There was nothing she could say that would make any of this better. After the trial, I filed for divorce. It was finalized quickly given the circumstances. Vanessa signed over everything, didn't fight for any assets. I got the house, the cars, everything. I also sued her for the cost of the investigation, the legal fees, everything. The judgment was added to her restitution requirements, though I knew I'd never see a penny of it. The year after the trial was hard. I went to therapy to process what had happened. How someone I trusted completely had tried to kill me. How I'd almost died because I was too trusting, too willing to ignore the warning signs. My therapist helped me understand that none of it was my fault. That Vanessa's choices were her own. That I'd done everything right once I'd recognized the danger. Slowly, I started to heal. 2 years after Vanessa's conviction, I met someone new. Her name was Claire, and she was a librarian at the public library near my house. We met when I was looking for books on home repair, and she helped me find what I needed. We started talking. Then we started having coffee together. Then we started dating. I was honest with her from the beginning about what had happened with Vanessa, about the poisoning attempt, the trial, everything. Claire listened to the whole story, without judgment. That must have been terrifying, she said. It was. The worst part was realizing someone I loved was capable of that. Do you think you'll ever be able to trust anyone again? I'm trying. It's hard, but I'm trying. She reached across the table and took my hand. I'm glad you're trying. And for what it's worth, I'm not Vanessa. I'm not going to hurt you. 3 years later, Claire and I got married. It was a small ceremony, just close friends and family. Thomas was my best man. We had a reception at a nice restaurant downtown, not far from the bench where I'd gotten Vanessa's confession. During the reception, Thomas pulled me aside. You doing okay? Yeah, really okay actually. Good. You deserve to be happy after everything. I'm happy. Claire's amazing. This is what marriage is supposed to be like. No poisoning attempts. I laughed. None. She even lets me make my own coffee in the morning. 5 years after Vanessa's conviction, I got a letter from her in prison. It had been forwarded through my lawyer, since she wasn't allowed to contact me directly. The letter was long, rambling, full of apologies and explanations. She said she'd found religion in prison, that she was a different person now, that she understood the gravity of what she'd done and how sorry she was. She asked if I could ever forgive her. I read the letter once and then shredded it. There was nothing she could say that would change what happened. No apology that would make attempted murder acceptable. I didn't respond. Claire found me in my office after I'd shredded the letter. "You okay?" "Yeah, just got a letter for Vanessa. Prison stuff. Apologies." "Did it help to read it?" "No, because I know she's only sorry she got caught. If I'd actually died, if her plan had worked, she wouldn't be sorry at all. She'd be spending my insurance money with Derek." Claire wrapped her arms around me. "She's in prison where she belongs. And you're here, alive, building a good life. That's what matters." She was right. Vanessa had tried to poison me to get the insurance money. But I'd switched our drinks that morning when my coffee tasted bitter. I'd documented everything. I'd gotten her confession on tape. And now she was in prison while I was living the life she tried to steal from me. The best revenge wasn't anger or bitterness. It was survival. It was building something better. It was refusing to let her actions define the rest of my life. I'd survived an attempted murder by my own wife. And I'd come out the other side stronger, wiser, and infinitely more grateful for every day I was still breathing.